Hey everybody, it's Neil with the Dastardly Gentleman. How are we doing tonight? Frank's a little choppy over there. We're still having technical difficulties, but you know what? I don't even care anymore. It's gonna be just fine. It's all gonna even out.
All you need is the sound of my voice.
It's, why are we doing it like this? Anyways, so tonight we're gonna do a little podcast. If you haven't heard of us before, we are the Dastardly Gentleman. I don't know why I'm talking like this. And we've got some new scenes. Check it out. Ready? Ready? I'm Neil. And with me, I have Frank. Say hi, Frank.
Ah!
That was terrible. It's all choppy. Listen, maybe I should
I,
stop
I'm
sharing
like
screen.
I am you can, that's fine. I'm a ridiculous still life.
It's so bad.
The bright side is that whenever I look at it on my screen, I mean I'm getting excellent frame rate and I look getting horrible. Yeah.
It's way better now. So tonight we're going to talk about this Cohen situation. Cohen? Cohen?
Cohen, Michael Cohen. Oh, is that what we're doing? Look, I watched the whole thing. Oh my God, I watched the whole thing, y'all. Oh my Jesus.
I mean, I did too. Well, kind of, sort of. People kept on calling me
Oh,
and shit. I don't know why, but I also read the whole statement he put
jobs.
out. That was good. That was good stuff. It was quality right there. So let's get right into it. So hold on, hold on. Okay.
Hold on then.
So okay,
Who's on then?
the Cohen thing. The Michael Cohen uh, is the ex lawyer of Trump. If you didn't know that, he was his lawyer for 10 years, and he was heavily involved in the RNC campaigning. And yeah, he's going to jail. Um, what do you think about that, Frank? What's on the you know what's on your side of the fence over there? What did you think
Mike,
about it?
what's in my conservative coconut? I'm glad this guy's going to fucking jail. And you know what? Not only am I glad that he's going to jail, but he's a terrible human being. And I don't even understand why we're even talking to him. I,
Hey.
I don't even understand why we're even talking to Michael Cohen. Like he has absolutely no bearing on anything at this point. They even made fun of him basically for even thinking that he had a leg up in this overall conversation. It was incredible. The whole thing, I don't know, because the dude's already lied to Congress completely already. So why are we even bothering to ask? It seems stupid. And he doesn't have anything that he hasn't already given up. And he basically admitted whenever he was in, I mean, he didn't even basically admit, he just straight up admitted he's looking for a book and movie deal after this whole thing's done. So whenever he comes out of jail, he's going to be a fucking millionaire all over again. It's incredible. I mean, why is he even here? Stupid.
That's what I think.
I
I
mean, aside from the fact that the chairman lied and everybody wanted to talk to Rod Rosenstein instead, but they were like, "You get Cohen," and the Republicans are like, "We don't need to talk to Cohen. Why would we bother? He has nothing to offer. He's worthless. He's just all he is now is excess protoplasm because he comes in and he lies. Okay, he gets caught for lying, and then he just spills his guts completely, just drops everything. No big deal. Bleh, all that stuff's gone, and then now uh we're looking at the things that he wants to contribute, which is nothing because he has nothing he hasn't already given up. So what's those 6 hours that wasted everyone's fucking time, except for to show that a bunch of the people that were there were fucking stupid when it comes to asking questions. My girlfriend, my lady, AOC actually managed to keep her shit together today. I was very surprised. When they called her name, I was like, "Here we go. We're going to just derail the whole argument. But whatever's going to happen, whatever's going to come out of this woman's mouth is going to be completely fucking stupid. And she actually surprisingly kind of stayed on point. I was really shocked. She didn't do like most of the other Republicans or most of the other Democrats and go right into the. Did you know that he's a racist?
See, they didn't do that. That's the thing. They kind of did that, but they didn't really do that per se.
Yeah.
They did more of the let's talk about everything that.
Monologuing. Are you even here? Am I talking to myself?
Let's they're more like let's talk about all the rest of the problems in the
I'm
world.
talking to myself, huh?
You're not talking to yourself, Frank. You can't even hear me, can you? Oh no.
Oh, Neil. I think Neil died. That's fine. You know what? I'm taking the show over.
I don't know why
you
you can't hear me. Hold on.
You're not talking at all because you're muted.
I am not muted.
I'm just saying.
I'm okay. Look, I might have been muted only in Discord.
Might have been. Oh, okay. I mean, like, I'm just saying, I couldn't hear you, and that's what's really important. But I mean, I guess I could turn on the. Oh, I love it. I love listening to it because, like, I just turned on the actual podcast, and I'm enjoying it. It's quite comical.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
So I created this whole new scene, and I didn't bind my microphone to push to talk. So that's what happens when you make a whole new scene from scratch. Is you forget shit. Anyways, so they didn't really do the whole racial thing as much as you would think they did, but they did do it.
Hard. I mean, they didn't do it as much. They had moments where, like, because Cohen himself said, he's racist, and I was like, okay. And then, but then at the end, whenever they called, especially on the two women of color that were there, I can't remember the black rep with the weave, and then the
weave.
What was it, Rashawn Tlaib from Michigan, who obviously, when she gets home, is she's asking for a stoning, is all I'm saying. Because whenever she came in, I mean, that's all she talked about. That's all both of them talked about. It was the worst. And I'm like, but why, what is this even? I mean, what are we talking about at this point? This is ridiculous. Because she says, did you know that just saying that you have a black friend is the most racist thing that you can say? And then she looked over at one of the Republicans who had apparently had a black friend and had said that, no, actually he's got quite a few apparently, and also the chairman who was a Democrat was the guy's best friend, and he flat said that. He says, no, he is my best friend.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I was like, that's cool. I mean, I like that. I think that was awesome because that literally, that one exchange destroyed the Democrat argument for like the remainder of the session, because the effort to try to paint Republicans as being like, these Bible thumping super racist with like, they all secretly at night paint their faces in the stars and bars. And then but then the black chairman's like, no, he's my best friend. And I'm like, he's a Democrat. That guy's Republican. Your move, Tlaib.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, and she retracted so fast. She retracted faster than a fucking lamprey eel. I mean, gone. It was incredible.
Yeah, see, that was stupid. The whole banter back and forth about I've got racist or I've got black friends, or it's stupid. It has nothing to do with what they were talking about.
And it's funny because it would never have been brought up, but she just she literally tried to blindside one of the Republicans, and I'm like, why did you even do that? That has no bearing on what you guys are talking about in the slightest. What is the purpose of even bringing that up? So I mean, in my head, I'm like, is she trying to talk about Trump or whatever? But then she does right at the guy, and I'm like, bitch, you for real? Like, I mean, you're trying to start shit in chambers? What? What? What are you trying to get on TMZ? It was crazy.
Yeah, that basically it was a whole bunch of that. It was a whole bunch of I know we're talking about a potential treasonous act that the president did. We're talking about this, specifically what this guy did. But let's go ahead and talk about our agenda. Let's talk a little bit about the problem with this country. Let's talk a little bit about Racism. Let's talk a little bit about what was it? What was the other thing they were just spouting off about? About the
Oh,
wall.
xenophobia.
About the
The wall is xenophobia. I mean, it was everywhere. She was all over the place.
well,
I'm like,
it
get this
wasn't just
bitch off
her.
the mic.
It wasn't just her. It was the Republicans too. It's like, oh, we could be doing a whole lot more different things, and we could be talking about the wall right now, and this and that. Like,
Well, they could, but that's the thing. The wall is infinitely more needing to be discussed than fucking Michael Cohen, who has nothing left to offer. That train has left the fucking station.
but that's
So I mean, why,
that
why, why is he even
that's the
here?
thing is like it's on everybody's minds. The Michael Cohen thing. They want to know what he knows, and if there was more to what he had to say, by all means, that's great. Let's hear it. He put out a long ass letter the night before, and basically outlined everything he needed to say. So the questions honestly should have been about that letter and about his involvement. It should have been about nothing else, and it could have ended probably about 2 hours prior. It didn't need to be that long, but they wanted to expand upon it and throw in racism, throw in, you know,
I was
all this other
Some of it
shit.
was worse. I mean, I did notice that the thing that really got on my nerves, as a couple of Republicans did it. Congressman Hicks from I think he was from either Virginia or West Virginia. He did it, but a lot of I mean, like I'm not trying to like I actually thought like some of the Republicans had like really inane questions, and I'm like I don't know what you're trying to say. You're an idiot. Shut up. But then, but most of the Democrats, the thing that I noticed in the process of the hearing is that you could tell who had the most experience in Congress, because a lot of these, even the older people that, especially like on the Democrat side, where they would just kind of sit there and they'd be like, "Do you think that the president is indeed actually a racist?" And then you're like, no. And then okay, I would like to give the remainder of my time to the gentleman from Virginia. And I'm like, that was it. That was your one and done. I mean, like if the smoking gun, but so then we have like a lot of the Democrats were doing the reels before, or the fields before reels, and they would ask questions out of that they seem to have plucked out of thin air, and then you had the Republicans that were like, I would like to enter this into evidence on this date at this time. This document came into our possession and we want it being put in. There is no objection. Okay, and on this date, on this time, we have this document. I mean, they took this dude to the fucking wheel and they broke him. And I think what really kind of flim flam my zimzams was whenever they were attempting to exonerate him in the court of public opinion and be like, like this is a true redemption story. I'm like, this motherfucker has like 22 charges of fraud. He's lied to everyone, including you. Don't do this bullshit of, you're a redeeming we have redeeming qualities, because they even were trying to pin a lot of, like, because one of the representatives from Massachusetts, he's Lynch was his name. He says, you know, I understand that you probably fell into the corruption that was Donald Trump. Whenever you committed these fraudulent withdrawals and notices to the banks for mortgages, that was at the behest of Donald Trump. Is that correct? No, that was for me. And I'm like, he's already a bad guy. He's already a fucking liar. Whoa, we know that. Why is he here? I mean, goddamn.
See, that was my biggest thing about it too. Was there was just so much speculation and so much opinion, so much. I think
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, it does. It didn't matter. This meeting could have literally never happened, and we would have been completely fine. Because, like you said, there's a lot of I think, I believe, I feel, I think that you, and I'm like, it's insubstantial. I mean, because like at least some of the like I said, the older Republicans that had been on seat for a while, they had specific dates and times, they had ledgers, they had reports, they had all these other things to basically like refute what Michael Cohen's saying, which was garbage anyway, and we already knew it wasn't fucking true. So I mean, why are we even bothering to have the conversation to begin with? And then everything else, he couldn't. he can't actually talk about.
Right. The only
Because even whenever like you try to get things that really mattered, I mean, he's like, well, I can't talk about that because it's under special investigation. Of course it is. Why is he here?
yeah,
I mean, goddamn.
absolutely, and that's one of the things. Okay, so the only thing that actually mattered, I guess, which is outside of the realms of Mueller's investigation, is the Stormy Daniels thing, which
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal. But even the evidence he provided was like weak. I mean, he told a story and then he produced a piece of paper with a signature on it with money on it, and it's like, this is where this money came from. I mean, unless it's written on the document, you know how you write a little check and it says thirty-five thousand
The memo.
dollars in the memo field for shutting
Yeah.
up Stormy. Like, you,
Yeah, I mean, like
it's still hearsay. It sucks. I mean, I honestly I don't care about your story because you're a convicted liar. I don't care about how bad you feel about all of it. All I want is to know whether or not he did something he shouldn't have and should be removed from office for. Or you're just full of shit and just come out and say it. Hey, I don't know. I don't have anything. Sorry. Let's move on with our day. But don't sit there and tell me a sob story about how you feel so bad and I could have quit like 100 times over, but I didn't. Like,
but
okay,
I didn't because the
so
money was good. Fuck.
yeah, it's like it doesn't matter. Either freaking give us some solid evidence or you're done because nobody gives a shit about what you have to say. And the people there that were buying into a sob story was just pissing me off. Like,
It's so
and I
dumb.
said it several times today in chat, and I'm like, dude, I don't care, red, blue, it doesn't matter to me. I just want the fucking truth. And if you can give me the truth without there being any kind of like a slight speculation or conjecture or a maybe or your hearsay, great, let's hear it. Otherwise, get the fuck off my TV. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the thing. I mean, like there was nothing that he could provide that would be substantive enough to actually be relevant. So it was a 6-hour hearing, basically grilling him on shit he's already going to jail for.
Right.
Why are we here? Why are we talking? What even is this? I mean, is this like the first in his fucking court of appeals? Because Elijah Cummings made this really long-winded bullshit fucking speech at the end about we don't need this right now. I'm like, you brought him here.
Right.
Republicans wanted Rosenstein, and you fucking brought Michael Cohen. So, apparently you fucking wanted him here. You apparently needed this. You apparently needed to make yourself feel good, question mark, about talking to somebody who probably lies more than you, probably. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why he was there. I mean, I heard that question get asked during the entire 6 hours by 4 separate senators on both sides of the aisle. Because they're like, we don't even know. I mean, like, why are we even talking to you? Because we had requested someone else and now you're here. And now we have you, but we don't care because there's nothing that you can say because everything's locked behind the Mueller investigation, or you don't fucking know, or it's already been revealed because he had this big I can't remember what state the senator was from. A guy with glasses and had gray hair. He was phenomenal though because he produced like a shitload of evidence to corroborate with. Whenever he was asking his questions. So he would ask a question and then he would produce a piece of evidence to refute what Michael Cohen just said. And he would have it logged and everything. I mean, it was beautiful to watch. It was absolutely smashing. But then at one point he was asking about the email dump. And he said, when did Donald Trump become aware that the email dump was going to take place? And he said, well, he became aware that the email dump existed in July. He says, are you sure about that? He says, yeah, it was either the 19th or the 20th of July. And he says, okay, well, MSNBC wrote a story on the June 22nd about the emails coming from WikiLeaks. That was whenever they were contacted by it. So what you're telling me is that you have information that is completely open to the public before it even became a thing. So what you had that you were trying to use as your major marketing chip and your smoking gun was old news.
Right.
Everyone else knew it too. So what's your point? I mean, I don't understand. He said, what was it like? I don't understand the context or the validity of this statement.
Right.
I'm like, join the club because again, I've been here for 3 hours listening to this shit. I don't know why the fuck he's here either.
Right. And I think honestly, throughout all the questioning, the only
You described 90. Dean says you described 90% of them. You damn right I did.
the only real questioning that actually bared any kind of fruit was what Cortez said.
which freaks me
I
out. I
know,
mean, this
right?
goes back to like whenever like earlier in the week we were talking about how I was actually on Dianne Feinstein's side for like once in my life, and it freaked me out because I'm like Dianne Feinstein's terrible in every conceivable way. But then whenever she schooled those stupid little brats about the Green New Deal, I was like, good, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad this happened.
Right.
But I'm like, you're still terrible. But I am glad that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cortez. For whatever reason, she was the only one that actually asked.
What?
My camera just moved.
What is happening over there?
That was spooky. For whatever reason, Cortez was the only one that actually asked any pertinent questions.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, this woman hasn't been able to think her way out of a wet fucking paper sack. And I was telling Neil before we got on here, I could only imagine that someone wrote the questions for her. And it was probably Nancy Pelosi, took her aside and said, listen, you crazy little bitch, you little bug-eyed freak, I need you to read this script. If you deviate, I will cut your fucking face off. I will bury you, and no one will fucking find you. I will feed you to the pigs, the so-called Bronx that you live in. I swear to God.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like everybody else whined and bitched and asked questions that were already answered, and she was the only one that's like, okay, um, you said that I could find Trump's tax returns where? Oh, okay. What's his name? All right. Okay, got it. Thanks. See ya. Peace. I'm on a mission now.
Yeah. Relevant fucking questions. I'm like, good. You know what? You're like the. I mean, like again, I like to think of myself as being impartial for the most part, but this woman definitely makes me insane. So it's just like whenever like Trump was first elected, and I didn't like him, but like he was doing a good job, and so I'm like, but he's doing a good job, and so I'm like, I'm defending him, and I'm like, ugh, I'm defending him. I didn't want to defend him, but I'm defending him. But now it's like, with AOC, I'm like, she's literally the dumbest piece of shit communist on the planet, and she says something right, and I'm like, ah, oh, ah, she's right though. Ah,
To be fair, I feel the same
God.
exact way whenever, whenever Trump says something like semi-intelligent. I'm like, you know what? Someone probably wrote them for him, but he had to at least agree to read it. So,
But like at the same time, like even if Trump's been on podium, like he has said things that he's right about. It's just that it's the manner in which that he says them that makes you go, you're kind of a dick, mate. But then but whenever she says shit, it's like we have 12 years until the world ends.
mark your calendars.
I'm like, what? And then so just like whenever like we were talking about Dianne Feinstein, whenever they said, the little brats in her office were like, we have 12 years to turn this around. And then she says, if we decided today, right now, we started redoing our infrastructure, it wouldn't make any difference. If all we had was 12 years. And I'm like, that's true. You cannot turn if you have 12 years left until the Earth, I don't know, reaches half-life and just melts. There's no fucking way to turn it around. You might as well just start making your peace with the creator, or total hedonistic anarchy,
Or the entire plot to Interstellar. Have you seen that movie?
I have not actually.
That's exactly the plot to Interstellar. Well, you haven't seen it because
Oh my God, are you telling me that? Oh, okay. Hey, I bet that's how she came up with the Green New Deal.
Probably, dude.
She watched it. She's guys. So I can't do that. I can't make guys. I watched. Shh, I'm talking. Guys, I watched a documentary last night called Interstellar. I can't make my eyes get that big.
Get some glasses, dude.
Yeah. I don't. I need to get googly eye glasses that like the ones that like hang down. I watched the documentary Interstellar last night with a superhero. Was it Matthew McConaughey was in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Matthew McConaughey led an expedition, and he saved. I don't know if he saved the planet or not, but the Earth was going to end because we fucked it up. We have to make everyone communist. This is my conclusion. And if you don't like it, to the gulags.
No, it was almost like that. But the plot was basically, let's look for another habitable planet because Earth is fucked. Let's get the hell out of here.
I mean, it's so. I don't know. I mean, like it's one of those things where like I don't know because I'm a churlish swine. I actually read the entirety of that bill, and I took notes, and I got about 2 pages of the 14 pages in, and was just laughing uncontrollably.
Like the new layout?
Kyle and Jer! Yeah, you guys like the new layout?
Thanks,
I know it's
dude.
nice. he keeps going back and forth every time that I go on my diatribes, which is constantly.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of him and very little of me. It's
Wow.
true though.
Okay, fine. I guess I'll just shut the fuck up.
I guess I'll
No,
just
y'all
die.
figure it out. I guess I'll just die then.
No, it's fine. Um, so yeah, that was the whole Cohen deal. I mean, like, I'm glad that's not the only topic we have to talk about tonight, because honestly, there wasn't much to it. If you watched it,
It was insane.
you probably feel either my way or Frank's way, which is not really that much different. But it's funny because I was talking to Frank about it. I'm like, reading Reddit and then talking to Frank about it, two polar opposites. Because if you read Reddit and it's very, very, very liberal over there, and it's like, oh man, the Dems are totally giving it to the Republicans. I'm like, where? Where is that
I don't
happening?
see that. I mean, like I heard because Neil told me that, and I'm like, where? All the Dems are literally doing is feels before reels. I mean, that's all they were doing. It was blowing me away because it's like I said, they're like, don't you think that he's a racist? I'm like, based on what? I'm like, how is that relevant to the particular hearing that we're engaging in right now? But hell, none of the rest of this fucking makes sense. Knock yourself out. Let me know why. Why do you think he's fucking racist lady?
Well, not only that, and if you look from the opposite end, or actually right in between, the Republicans were just as bad. I mean, not just as bad, but
No.
they had their moments as well where
Well, yeah.
it was just like, hey, I've been around Trump a couple times, and he's the most caring person I know about America. So you can take your
At the
testimony
same time,
and
though, I
shove it.
mean, like, here's the thing, though. I mean, like, whenever you're talking about something as insubstantive as he's a racist. Why? Because he is. Okay, well, I've been around him constantly, in public and in private, and never once has he said anything racist. I mean, so like, really, both of you have the same it doesn't really fucking matter argument,
Right.
because you can't prove anything either way. So I mean, like, if I'd have been one of the Republicans, I'd been like, sure, and then that was it. Because in this era of SJW nonsense, I'm gonna be like, you're a fucking Nazi. Sure,
Well,
it has no meaning. Like, you're racist. All right.
that's the thing though. That's what kills me the most is that okay, so the liberals are going nutty and like the emotions are running wild basically, but then you still have the right extremists as well, where it's like he's never done a bad thing in his life. Like, come the fuck on. Look,
I did not see that
you
at
can
all. I
sit
didn't see that
there.
at
Oh, I
all.
saw it a couple times from a different couple of Republicans, but that's the thing is like, look, you can sit there and say he's not a racist, okay, or you can sit there and say I've been around him and he's never said a racial thing to me, okay, but don't sit there and pretend like he's never done anything wrong and he's an absolute fucking saint. That's what pisses me off. It's like, okay,
I didn't get that. I mean, I guess you're looking to do it differently than I did, because like, whenever I was watching it, there were some people that were being a little bit unnecessarily sycophantic, and people that were kind of like giving way to emotion and hyperbole.
right.
I am sad to say, Paul Gosser, our boy from Lake Havasu City, yeah, he definitely drank of the Kool-Aid that the liberals were drinking of, for sure, because he like went off on a tangent, and I'm like, are you gonna ask him something, or are you just gonna use your whole 5 minutes to just, I
Spout
don't know,
rhetoric.
yell? I mean, like, because I'm like, this is a hearing, bro, not a fucking speech.
Right.
I mean, save it. The guy's going to jail. What the fuck? He's going to jail. He's not going to be a lawyer anymore. What the fuck else do you want? I mean, everyone knows him. He's a disgrace.
I want to scold him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like, because what you say is really gonna hurt his fucking feelings at this point. I mean, like,
he's
shut up.
literally
Shut up. If you're not gonna ask a question, shut up.
Cohen's just sitting there like, okay, next.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, you're a liar. Yeah, I know, it's on record.
Yeah, I've been disbarred because of it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I've been disbarred. But I mean, what the fuck do you want? I mean, it was I don't know, because like, whenever both sides, like, that's like I said, I found that the majority of Republicans had actual questions and or actual facts and then documents to prove it, but then an overwhelming majority, in my estimation, of the Democrats were doing the feels before reels, I mean, I found it amusing and entertaining, but then whenever like they started kind of cannibalizing each other and the Republicans, I'm like, there's a bad guy actually in the room with you. If you're really mad, if you're actually upset about something, you can take it out on him. Because I mean, like, you guys get all pissy about like the possibility of collusion and the fact that Trump Tower is basically like a rattlesnake nest of bad shit. You know, this is the guy who did it, right? I mean, like all the things that you guys bitched about Trump Tower. This is actually the guy who did it. I mean, this is the one who set everything up.
Right.
You feel free to yell at him. He actually has things that you can yell at him for that we can actually fucking prove. So, you know, but Trump's a racist. Okay, well, I mean that doesn't mean anything. But all right, cool. I mean, because like I said, you get to a point where like you know, calling somebody, you know, because we talked about this before with the whole the super PC culture where, you know, if you call somebody xenophobe, homophobe, whatever, homophone, like it doesn't mean anything anymore. You know, because I've had you know, podcasts and whatever, people said like, you know, you're a Nazi. I'm like, okay. I mean, okay. I mean, this is the internet. Like everyone will call you anything just to get a rise out of you, and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean anything. So I mean, whenever you get up there and be like, he's a racist, can you quantify that? I mean, like, you know, has he like come out of Trump Tower and like to the 26th floor and actually thrown a person of color off the 26th floor and screamed down after him, I don't like black people? And then, you know, I mean, has he done anything like that? Because I mean, like, at this point, that would be what you'd really need to have it really actually mean something.
See, that's one thing that I found really cool was that I was watching the CNN cast, so that's probably why you and I were off. We're off of the you know, we had some latency.
I was watching C-SPAN.
But I can't remember his name. His last name is Taggart or something like that. One of the correspondents on there, but he's like, well, I mean, some of the things that he said, if it's true, yeah, you know, he's totally a racist, but you know, it's not a crime to be a racist, so like.
It's not.
Like,
I mean, that's something that everyone needs to bear in mind. I mean, like, does it make you deplorable? Yeah, it makes you it makes you a complete douchebag, mate. But I mean, like, you know, it's not something that you can be like, all right, you know, he doesn't like the darkies, clap him in irons.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way, and it doesn't matter. I mean, really doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not a crime to. That's a thought crime basically. But
yeah.
But then yeah, we started throwing the like that was his Cohen's biggest like gotcha was he's a racist, he's a con man, and he's a cheat. He's a cheat. And it's like, okay, well that's your
he's a businessman. That's everyone.
That's you describing him based on your own opinion. It's like, okay, give us some fucking facts. And that's exactly, I mean, I'm going to give a big shout out to my buddy Casey here for giving us that awesome feedback he gave us the other day. It goes back to the damn name calling. When you have nothing to say, when your argument has run out of steam, you start just throwing out name calling. Like, there's nothing. Just move on.
Opinion, man.
Like, if you ever get into like an argument with somebody, back and forth, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden like, well, that just makes you a racist, or that just makes you a Nazi, or that just makes you an asshole.
The end.
Okay, well, I guess we're done talking here. Like, there's nothing more to talk about.
Every time somebody does that to me, and ever like we have like the little debates, and they're like, well, you're just an ass. I'm like, yes, in your fucking face.
You lose.
I win. And I do my little like triumph. Run, dun, 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 dun. You're sore loser.
All right, so let's move on to this next topic, which I had as a backup. Hoping this wouldn't be too short.
I don't even know what it is.
We're gonna speculate the Mueller report.
Oh.
Because that's expected to drop soon. It's gonna be 2019's hot album.
I'm not gonna lie, I want it. Part of me, I mean, like, obviously I want to know what's in it.
Yeah.
But the other part of me literally wants it to just be like, where he comes out and be like, not guilty.
In the end, peace.
And just to watch, you're like, not guilty, drops it, and then leaves, you know, and to watch the Democratic Party just fucking melt. I just, yesterday, what have we been fighting for? Conversely, it would also be very interesting to see because Republicans so far have had like a rather excellent reputation for cleaning house, and I would be very interested to see Mitch McConnell, for example, because he hates Trump pretty much openly. So I mean, like I imagine that he probably wouldn't be too terribly flummoxed to be like, oh, he's guilty. Well, good.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. I could just see it happening where like he gets the report and goes, "I move to ratify the 25th amendment of the Constitution. Let's remove this douchebag." Anyone can get the hot wax because we're pulling the plug on this toupee.
Listen, they can't lose in this. I mean, the Republicans cannot lose. Either he gets thrown out on his ass, or he's fine. Like either or, they win. It's
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the only ones who have a fucking pony in this race are the Dems. I mean, that's it. I can just imagine Nancy Pelosi is just like at home. She keeps taking her false teeth out and putting them on the counter, and then putting them back in, then taking them out and putting them back in, and and she takes her eyeballs out, and she puts them in the thing, and she puts them back in. She's like, oh, I can't sleep. I can't go into my coffin at all. And she's so upset, and she needs to know, and she's just, I want to see. Here's what I want. I wish they would do it like the baby reveals that you see on YouTube.
okay.
Because I want all of Congress with a camera in everyone's face whenever Mueller comes out and be like, not guilty. To see Nancy go, ah! And then I don't know how old ladies cry, but I mean like old lady tears. I imagine it's just dust
So
that comes
make
out.
it all ceremonious, like have a fucking like balloon, and then somebody with a bow and arrow. Not guilty.
Oh, and
Oh.
it's just not guilty. Or there's like nothing in it, and he's like, no collusion, and he just runs out the door because he knows it's gonna be fucking complete pandemonium.
So okay, let's talk about speculation because that's our job is to speculate. It's their job to give us the actual fucking truth. So
Because we're opinionated assholes.
yeah. So do you think? Okay, first question is: do you think that he gets out of the scot free?
I honestly, yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I mean, like, I think that maybe he might potentially face minor legal troubles for some of the things that he's either said or done. But I think as far as the charges that have been the full charges that have been levied against him, which would be collusion with a foreign power, I genuinely think that he's going to get out of it.
Okay.
And it mostly has a lot to do with mostly the really unpleasant uh, relationship between him and Putin that we presently have, because they kind of don't like you. Well, I mean, Putin openly fucking dislikes Trump. I mean, look, real talk, he's fucking really easy to dislike. So I mean,
Sure.
that's not that shocking. But I mean, at the same time, Trump has, he was talking about lessening sanctions, but he didn't. I don't know if that's directly related to the probe or not, but I mean, he's because everyone's like, well, he's going to relax sanctions, and he had talked about doing it before because he wanted to get on better terms with Russia, but then Russia continues to support the war in the Crimea and the Czech Republic, so he's like, well, no, then the sanctions will stay, and so now Putin's like throwing his fucking pierogi across the room, and he's like, well, we will make him pay. I will judo chop him across the Atlantic. What do you mean I can't? Fuck you, kill him. kill this man for telling me I cannot. And then I don't know, it just seems to me like he had a deal, and that was one of the things that was in the Cohen investigation, grilling, inquisition, useless discussion. Was well, were you part of the discussion whenever they were trying to make a hotel in Moscow? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, well, I mean, and then the gnashing of teeth and the great grating of panties, and then they're like, I mean, that's collusion. He's like, no, he makes hotels. That's literally his job. I mean, he makes hotels. And then I loved the one thing that AOC said that I was blown away by, that I'm like, I can't believe she actually asked that, was whenever she was like, in 1990. In 1999, whenever we just know that Trump was attempting to talk to the then Soviet government about creating a hotel directly outside the Kremlin, were you part of those discussions? And Cohen's like, I said already that I joined his staff in 2007, so no. Oh, okay. And then that was it. I mean, dropped.
Like,
Someone get this woman a chronometer because she needs one. She has no idea what year she's in. I imagine that, like, she's still trying to come down off of whatever she just had. Because, I mean, that was a stupid question. That was okay. Now I forgot about that until like we started talking about it. Now that was a stupid question.
Yeah, it
That was
was.
one that I definitely. I'm like, hmm, hmm.
So,
I don't know what you're trying to get at, but no.
stop wasting everybody's effing time, all right?
Shut up! Stop wasting everyone's. I mean, like, I don't know if I'd have been there and it'd been like, well, since we're just gonna ask shit about things that have no meaning to anyone and it has absolutely no bearing on anything that we're doing. Hey, let's talk about that Green New Deal, bitch. I mean, like, what? So now let me ask you this: in 1990, if Trump did actually collude with the Russian government to build a hotel right outside of the Kremlin, are you asking for the keys because you want to be closer to the motherland and where communism, has its real roots in? Is that what you're asking for? Or are you buying it for Uncle Bernie?
What?
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't even know. So, okay.
There's a video. There's a video apparently of Bernie singing the Russian national anthem with his shirt off, which I'm like, that's so wild. It has to be true. I mean, like part of me is like, you do it, Grandpa. But the other part of me is like, yeah, you're obviously fucking off your rocker, unwell.
So, my initial question was, do you think he gets out of the scot-free? And you mentioned it very briefly that you think that he might get charged for minor offenses. I think personally that that is the most likely case, is that he gets charged for minor offenses like shady dealings or misinforming or something like that. Nothing that's going to get him impeached, which kind of pisses me
No,
off because I want him to be impeached.
I
Kind
I
of,
know, but I mean, like,
yes, but
but
no.
you have to go with that. That actually has to be there, though. I mean,
Right,
that's that's the whole point of
that's the thing. I
investigation.
don't want him to be impeached for nothing is what I'm trying to say. I
Yeah.
want there to be a reason for him to be impeached for one, but I kind of don't because then we get, Mr. fucking Pence. But even then, it's just bad, man. I don't this sucks. Like I wish we could just undo it all, but we can't. But
Well,
there's nothing we
realistically, Mike Pence really isn't that bad. I mean, like, if we were gonna like put him on a pedestal, I mean, I would say that you would probably have a lot more justified hostility for Donald Trump than you really would for Mike Pence because he's just an Republican.
true. I mean,
You
he's
know, I
like
mean,
faceless Republican basically.
he really is. I mean, like, and that's from the conservative. I mean, like, I look at him, I go, and Republican.
Yeah, you checked all the
I mean,
boxes, like basically.
yeah, white, okay,
Old.
military, okay, old, okay. That suit is crisp as shit. Check. I mean, like, hey, look, he looks really fucking presidential. Real talk. He looks really presidential, and he also looks like he's built like a brick shithouse.
I
So I mean, like, he's really rather remarkable, and sort of intimidating to look at physically. But I mean, he's not really done anything
I feel
insane.
I feel like every time he speaks, I have to turn up the volume a little bit. Like he's very quiet.
He definitely subscribes to the TDR thing. Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah, right.
Because he is, to me, the way that I've seen him and the way that he has presented himself and the way that he has attempted to enact solutions, he's very direct. He's very interested in getting it done for minimal amount of resistance, but getting it done and the minimal amount of cost, which in some ways is kind of like, okay, it reminds me of, Reagan. Okay, well, they killed 3 Americans. Okay, well, we're just going to destroy every airplane that they've ever had.
I never would
Like,
have.
oh, well, that sends a fucking message, doesn't it? I mean, holy shit. I know that he gets like a lot of shit because he introduced this he introduced a bill which was really rather innocuous, and I know Ellen Page lost her fucking mind over it. And he did it like 10 15 fucking years ago,
Right.
and it wasn't even really that big of a deal. It was, I think, oh man, what the hell was it? I know it's semi-abortion related.
Yeah, he's very, very pro-life.
Well, sure. I
Like,
mean, like, of
very
course he is. I
pro-life.
mean, but
Like,
but that's like that's a lot of people. I mean,
I
and
mean,
I from whatever I'm trying to remember what the hell
the reason why I
the
say
law he did.
he's very pro-life is because that's the only thing I've ever heard about him. Like, he hasn't really done much except for push pro-life. Um, it's literally like anytime I go to research Pence, the first thing that pops up is, yeah, he's really pro-life and he's pushed a whole lot of pro-life bills. Like, has he done anything else? Eh, maybe.
Well,
Like,
I mean, well, here's the thing. He's actually done really well for, I mean, like economically, job security, social acts that have been there. I mean, community building, etc. I mean, he's done very well. It's in his role as being a governor. Uh, but like, he's like, I don't, we voted, we had a bill presented, and it was voted on by the people, and then it was passed. And I'm like, okay, we followed the process.
democracy.
I mean, we did the thing that Indiana apparently was all for. So then you got some like vapid, useless, gaunt celebrity from fucking Hollywood being like, "Oh, it's the end of the world. You can't tell people what to do about gay things." I'm like, it's not about gay things. But okay. I mean, he doesn't like. He's like, I don't. It was like there's a was it who the fuck Steve Hughes? You ever seen the comedian Steve Hughes?
Sounds familiar.
He's this Australian guy, and he says my friends don't like gay people, and he says relax. He says they're not waiting for him out in the middle of the woods with a fucking crossbow, my mates. He says they're just they're not fucking insane. They just don't like him. I mean, and that's basically Mike Pence. He's like, I don't like him. I mean, you can do whatever you want to because I'm basically contractually obligated
Right.
to observe the law of the land, and that's true. But then whenever you ask him, like, what do you feel about gay marriage? I don't like it.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
basically
but he's not saying you can't do it. He's just saying I don't like it.
it's Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it's
exactly
like
what it
you
is.
can do whatever the hell you want to. Like we will be closed on Sunday. We will observe Christian holidays. I'm like, okay, well I don't like that. Okay, tough.
Sorry.
I mean, go fuck yourself. I mean, that was like the big thing that people got all fucking nutty about that bakery for. Like, well, we don't like gay marriage. We're not gonna make a gay cake. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. That's free market decision because that same gay couple could have gone to the bakery across the street that is more interested in your money than your sexuality and will make you the biggest dick cake on the planet should you ask for it, and they will subsequently charge you for it and then take your business from here on out.
Dude, that thing was nutty. It's like everybody was crying
That's so
about it.
dumb.
Everybody was crying about it. It's like if it were me and I was, gay, which I'm not, totally. If it were me, I'd be like, okay, so you're not gonna make a cake for us. Okay, well, we're gonna get married anyways and find a cake elsewhere, but then when we're done getting married, we're gonna open up a fucking bakery right across the street and we're gonna
Yeah.
put you out of business by
I mean, and
actually
that's
serving everybody.
and that would be a free market response.
Yes.
So then whenever you have like the top down government bullshit coming in and saying, you need to make them a cake if they ask for it. Like, no, you shouldn't, because anytime government gets involved, they fuck everything up.
Right.
Looking at you, Soviet Union.
But
And
that's also the thing too. Is it's a free market decision, but at the same time, I'm not saying like I'm gonna put you out of business like as retaliation. I'm gonna put you out of business because that's a stupid business decision you're making right now, and I'm
yeah,
gonna capitalize on it.
exactly. And that goes back again to a free market decision. So I mean, like, the free market decides. So then you decide that you want to open a bakery across the street and to compete with, and you open it up to everybody. Turns out that, like, you have an exceptionally vivacious and very, very eager to be married gay community. So you just rake in the Neros, and that place gets shut down. That would be free market decision. That would be free market practices. So I mean, whenever you have, like I said, vapid celebrities like Ellen Page gets nutty about shit that means nothing. I mean,
Right.
like, she weirdly picked Mike Pence out of everything.
Yeah.
Like, out of everyone that you could get pissed off about, I'm like, you picked Mike Pence, who right now is over talking to North Korea. I'm like, why the hell did you talk to, why are you mad about Mike Pence? Why Mike? Why him? Why him in particular? I mean, are we over Orange Man bad now? I mean, like, do we run out of steam on trying to capitalize on how much airtime you can get by shit talking Orange Hitler? Are we trying to go for, like, American Dad next? I don't understand. I mean, like, I don't understand. Like, I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine being Mike Pence, or like you're like, who is it? Joe Biden was like one of the most uninfluential and useless vice presidents on the planet, and then can you imagine being Mike Pence, who's basically a runner-up for that position, and then sitting there watching television? Oh, it's Ellen Page. I kind of liked Inception. I think I'm one of the 6 people who liked it. And then you're like, oh, wait, what? What? Wait, why is she mad at me? What the fuck did I do? You don't like gay people? Well, no. And what else? That's it. That's all you got. I don't like people that are gay that get married. Okay. Stupid.
Yeah,
I hate it.
stupid.
It's so dumb. Every time a fucking celebrity opens their mouth, I want to scream into a pillow. Native people.
I don't know. It's some celebrities are just insufferable for sure. Other celebrities are like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna vote with my wallet. I'm gonna vote, and I'm also gonna vote with my wallet, and I'm not gonna tell other people what to do. But if you ask me,
Yeah.
I'll tell you. You know, like it's not like
Yeah.
everybody. I'm gonna hop on my celebrity soapbox and tell you exactly what you need to do. Go out and vote this way. Go donate that way. Like, dude, come on. I don't.
That's like
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman does that.
Does he?
Well, because you know they're like he doesn't go out and do politics or whatever. But then you know if you're like they had this really remarkable skit, and I said skit, that's not fair. This really remarkable interview between him and Don Lemon, who's an actual racist, and weird, and he was trying to race bait, and Morgan Freeman's like, nope, doesn't happen. Sorry. You know, I mean, and he just goes very calmly, step by step, dismantles Don Lemon, and poor little Don. Oh, poor little Don. He had a bad time. Someone should have given him a hug and a lozenge. Because I mean, he got throated pretty hard by Morgan Freeman.
So yeah, not all celebrities are bad in that aspect. Some of them are just like, you're stupid. Stop. Just trying to spread anger is all you're doing.
I'm looking at you, Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh my god.
I mean, Jimmy Kimmel and Colbert, right? Jimmy Kimmel, Colbert, and Trevor Noah are like on my trifecta of the insufferables.
You know, I haven't really been watching a whole lot of Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert lately, especially Stephen Colbert since he went to his late night show. It's all crap now. Like.
It's garbage.
It's crap.
I mean, when he did the thing with Ellen Page, because that's where he let her grandstand.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I watching? Like, what even is this? Because I mean, I only saw just the bit with her because she starts doing the like, you know, I am a strong gay woman and Mike Pence hates me. I'm like, I'm actually willing to bet you money Mike Pence doesn't even know your name. For real though. I mean, you are such a small. I mean, you're not even a good actress. You've been in one movie that I can recall right off the top of my head, and you're carried by people vastly better than you.
Okay.
So I mean, like, really, let's not fucking float this boat,
Right?
You know, because I mean, you are not nearly as cool as you think you are, and you also look terrifying. You actually look like a skeleton, and it freaks me out. She looked like a skeleton in a Christmas sweater, and I was concerned. but then and Steven's like, it's like, good for you. That's really good. I'm proud of you. And I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
Talk about a straw man.
See,
God damn. Like, yeah, Mike Pence is probably sitting there somewhere going, do you feel that? I feel like someone's just lifting some bullshit.
And that's the thing, is like, even without the fucking interviews, their shows are stupid. They're not good. I mean,
No,
and
they're terrible.
And I used to love the Daily Show, and now I fucking hate it. It is so bad.
It was because Trevor Noah is the worst.
It's so bad with Trevor Noah, and he race baits so often. It just kills
Which is
me.
funny because like he's from South Africa,
Right?
where it's really, really, really anti-white, and I'm like, that's openly racist. You actually come from a racist country.
Yes. Yeah. This should be a whole lot better. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and he's supposed to be like, you know, this big prolific comedian, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever fucking laughed once watching this piece of shit show,
No.
unless like it was one of those like sardonic like,
Right.
Fuck you.
You wanna
I mean that then yeah, I kind of laugh.
you wanna know what late night show I actually do kind of snicker and chuckle at from now from time to time?
What's that?
Jimmy Fallon. The only
Jimmy
reason
Fallon.
he's a clown, and you know what? The clowns can be funny sometimes, but he doesn't do any of that shit on his show. He doesn't like run the
He
politics.
totally does.
Does he?
He totally does. He
I
did. I mean, whenever he did whenever they had the shooting in Las Vegas, he grandstanded for his entire monologue about
Oh, he did do that monologue. Okay, you're right.
yeah, about gun shit. And I'm like, see, whenever we had like tragedies that happened over uh, Jimmy Carson,
Right.
Johnny Carson,
Johnny Carson.
whenever, yeah, thank you. Whenever he did, whenever we had tragedies and Johnny Carson was around, he'd be like, a tragedy happened today. Go to the funny, and because that wasn't his job.
Right.
I mean, my job, like, and he often said that, my job isn't to be political. My job is to make people entertained. That's the whole purpose of the job. So he wouldn't get political. He wouldn't bring on, politicians and shit. I mean, if he did, it wouldn't be like, hey, what do you think about the new gay bill? Or what do you think about, the war in Korea or whatever? He would be like, hey, do you think farting dogs are funny? And try to be entertaining. I mean, that's all. Obviously, Johnny Carson's too good for a fucking fart joke. So, I mean, let's look. I made that part up. I'm sorry, but you get my point though. I mean, he would try to make it entertaining versus trying to make you decide something.
Well, yeah. Okay, so there's one other. Um, I don't even want to call him a pundit. One other person that's done that I've seen, especially after a tragedy. It happened after 9/11. Jon Stewart did that. He didn't do it quite like that though, but he did like give a very heartfelt monologue about how everybody's confused and the last thing we need to do right
It's
now.
almost impossible not to.
Yeah, you have to.
Especially after something like 9/11. But I mean, he part of because that was on the Daily Show, right?
On the Daily Show, yep.
So I mean that was that, but that's part of their thing is actually to look into the news
Right.
versus like uh the late night show, which is not. I mean it's not their job isn't the news. Their job isn't reporting. Their job is to just be fucking funny or entertaining at the very least, or mildly distracting. And they achieve none of that by and large. And it's really frustrating to be, what would you call it, talked down to almost the entire time, because the assumption that I have found during these particular shows is that you're too fucking stupid to actually understand what's going on. And that's always the impression that Fallon and Colbert and not Fallon, I'm sorry, Kimmel, and because you're right, Fallon's pretty much,
He's a clown.
he's just, I don't know, he's water. He's so uninteresting to me. Okay, he exists. Fallon definitely breathes air presently. But Kimmel, Colbert, Trevor Noah, they try so hard. They talk down to you the entire fucking time. They act like you're fucking stupid, which really irritates me. And then they give you half truths to shade any other line of thinking as being obviously, I don't know. Usually their go-to is racism.
Right.
So let's just assume that it's probably fucking racist. And that makes me crazy because that's not your job. Trevor Noah is the only one in that group that is that close to having it actually sort of be his job, because he kind of is supposed to comically inform.
Right.
But Kimmel is such a sack of shit. And then Colbert, I used to like him a lot, but he's so bad now with the SJW shit, right, that I can't with him anymore.
There's really only, okay, so I don't know, I haven't really watched Bill Maher in a while because he's just
he's terrible.
So
I forgot
left,
about
it's
Bill
ridiculous.
Maher.
But I do still watch John Oliver from time to time, because he's genuinely funny from time to time. Even if you,
yeah, he's got some good bits.
Even if he's obviously pushing a narrative, he's still pretty damn funny. He's probably the closest thing to Jon Stewart we have as far as being funny. He is actually funny.
I mean, he has comedic moments, and he can be vaguely informative, but you definitely need to like
check
read further, because he tends to misinform with pretty strong frequency.
And it
But like,
also really depends on the topic as well. If it's a political topic like gun control or Trump or any of that stuff, it's kind of one sided. Sometimes he'll like try and balance it out to not seem so one sided. But if it's something like, I don't know, televangelism, it's more like an expose at that point, which I really appreciate because he brings light to little known topics that nobody really thinks about, but it's a serious problem, you know, uh, shrouded in in darkness. So
yeah, I don't know, because like he has, but he always puts, he'll have a subject, let's say televangelism,
mhm.
um, which I'm not really a fan of, but he always me I guess like I can give him a pass because he tries to make it comedically interesting.
Right.
But he still, you're right. I mean, like whenever it comes to like an almost apolitical topic, the only time I dislike it, it was whenever he always, not I guess I can't say always, but in the subject of like televangelism, he brings it out and he takes shots at Republicans for being the kind of demographic that would probably adhere to something closer to televangelism, like actually having an interest in it, and attempting to not vilify but denigrate them to being just beer swilling hillbillies.
Right.
I that annoys me. That annoys me a lot because that's not true for starters. I mean, and it's one of those things to me where I'm like, whenever you start saying things like that, I'm like, how is that not the the left's big complaint is that whenever we have a healthy majority of people that follow Islam that are completely okay with throwing gays off of buildings, even in America. But if you say that out loud, you're being racist, question mark, even though it's not a race. But if you say that people that like to watch televangelism are beer swilling fucking hillbillies and they're all idiots and whatever, I'm like, isn't that like, isn't that kind of like in the same vein? Isn't that still super duper? Because it's not racism. I don't know what you call it. Bigotry. Let's just, because is that broad enough? Like you would still be able to call it
It's
that? I
generalization
don't
is
know.
all it really is. But I didn't see that happening in that episode. I saw. I wouldn't even say it's condescending by any means. The demographic he told about the televangelism episode was it's usually older white women that just fall for the shit, and it's not necessarily even more of a they're stupid. It's more of a they're being exploited for their
Mm.
beliefs for one, and for two, exploited for their lack of you know anybody this day and age, and hopefully this will be this sharp decline in televangelism, but anybody that knows anything about technology nowadays or has a smartphone can research anything. So when you prey upon people that don't have the know-how to do the research, like the old lady that lives with me, she doesn't know anything about the internet. She doesn't have it. Well, she has a smartphone, but she doesn't know how to operate it. So she's not going to sit there and do research as to whether this guy is a fraud or if this guy, how much his net worth is or whatever. Like this guy's a con man, and I have no idea other than he's on the TV and what he must be important enough to be on the TV, so somebody must believe him. So, you know, so they prey upon the lesser informed, and it's not even a they're stupid kind of thing. It's just they grew up in a time where there was no internet, and the majority of their life there was no internet. There was no way to find this shit out. Nowadays, oh, this guy, he's been in jail 3 times for fraud. Oh, okay, fuck him. Like it's it's easy nowadays. But no,
Hmm.
they don't. I didn't see that episode as well, all these dumb Republicans are falling for it. No, I didn't see that at all. So it might be a matter of perspective, but yeah, I definitely didn't see that.
I mean, it's also been, full disclosure. It's also been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I could, I mean, it could be blending in with another episode that he's done, where like he may have made comments like that. I could be making it up entirely in my head because, like I said, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, off the top of my head, I mean, like I know that he has he massively disparaged against conservatives
Yeah.
because
No,
he's fucking incredibly
yeah,
liberal.
he's liberal.
It's just like Bill Maher. Bill Maher does the same thing. I mean, he incredibly
No.
Uh,
Bill Maher does it
uh,
way worse though. Bill Maher is too.
oh, it's not even close. I mean, like between the two of them, I mean, like John Oliver is practically fucking moderate.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, it's bad. I mean, I fucking hate Bill Maher.
I enjoyed watching Bill
I
Maher
hate
for
Bill
a
Maher.
short stint, but then like when you start really listening to him and really like, he just discounts. And I stopped watching John Oliver for a while because he did the same shit for, especially during the election cycle, where it's like, especially during, back and forth between Trump and Hillary, where it was like, you're saying vote for Hillary because she's a Democrat, and would you rather
Yeah,
have Trump? And it's like, so you're basically just gonna go ahead and ignore all the shit that Hillary has been doing, has said, is currently doing, and what she's being accused of, because better than Trump? Fuck you. Give me all the facts or none at all. Like, don't bother. Don't waste my time if you're just gonna cherry pick shit. And that's the thing
yeah.
that bothered me the most. That's why I stopped watching John Oliver. That's why I stopped watching Bill Maher,
And,
because it felt like they were just pushing an agenda at that point.
and they are. I mean, but you know, at least they're both kind of transparent at
Yeah.
that point. I mean, the only problem is that there are people that aren't as perceptive as you and I that would look at it and go, well, I mean, clearly pushing something, and then everyone else, especially in John Oliver, the potential for misinformation is insane. So I mean, because he actually cites his sources, but he cites them purposely vague or incorrectly in order to sustain a particular narrative that he's driving, which isn't wrong because he's not the news.
Right.
And it's important that people know he is not the news. He is a hyperbole machine, and he is there to make shit funny or to make it, relevant, and you should look into it. But unlike, places like Louder with Crowder or Joe Rogan Experience, where they actually will cite a source and then they say you should go read it.
Yes.
You should go look at exactly what we're talking about, and so you can have your own opinion. Maybe you read it completely different than we do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you probably won't, but just in case you do, here's the entire report. Um, I hated Bill. Actually, I presently hate Bill Maher, I'm glad that he is being sued for slander by the Covington High kid, because after the retractions came out and the truth came out about the Covington High thing, he still doubled down on it, even knowing that it was wrong, and was openly I can't remember the exact wording that he used, but he was very, 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 very slanderous when talking about Nick Sandman in particular. And so I'm like, well, he knew now. He officially knew that, and I believe in his little diatribe, he actually acknowledged um, that he knew that the retractions were out, and I think he said he didn't care, and so now he's right behind Washington Post and being sued.
Good.
So
Good.
I actually would be completely okay with Nick Sandman literally beating the sand out of Bill Maher,
That's
legally speaking.
that's exactly what needs to happen. I mean, you can't just sit there and put this shit out. I mean, okay, you have a talk show. You have a politically charged talk show. Your job isn't necessarily to inform, but your job is more so to discuss and entertain. Now, if you're going to sit there on your soapbox and you're going to spout out like obvious falsehoods, then you should be punished for that. You should not be able to get away with that shit. And that's one of the biggest problems with our country right now. It's actually been one of the biggest problems in general since the beginning of time is misinformation. I mean, it's purposefully putting out misleading information so that either A, you look good, B, the other side looks bad, or C, you're just being an asshole. Like, pick your poison there. And it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
All you're doing is weakening us as a society, overall, because you want to be right. Like, we would be so much better off if there were penalties for purposefully misleading people. And it gets kind of touchy there, because then, yeah, you possibly get into the thought police. Oh, well, I'm an entertainer, I'm not a
Well,
reporter. It's
here's the
touchy.
thing. I mean, it only really works on that the slander thing only really works on people that have broad audience. And the thing about Bill Maher is, like you said, he has an audience, he has a following, he has groups of people that are actively interested in his material. And then whenever, like, a false narrative comes out and you continue to tell a substantial sum of people about the false narrative, it's like, okay, well, no, it's definitely, you know you're definitely doing something incredibly wrong, simply because now it's demonstrably false, and yet you're still pushing it to people that might not know any fucking better and might do something insane. I mean, look at the shit Kathy Griffin was doing, and I hope, god damn, I hope Kathy Griffin goes to jail, because she was calling for illegal shit to happen.
Yeah, she needs to go to jail. She was inciting violence. Is what she was doing.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Maher was talking shit and pushing a false narrative. Does he need to get sued civilly? Yes. I mean, Kathy Griffin, she wanted the kids to get physically hurt. She was calling for violence against children.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
This
Where
is
are we at now as a country? I mean, Jesus
absolutely
God.
is not the first time she's been that edgy, and it's stupid.
No, she did the holding up the Trump severed head, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely not good. I mean, that's a death threat if ever I've seen one.
Death threat to, I don't know, a sitting president. That should be, the Secret Service should be
Yeah,
knocking on your door.
yeah. I mean, the Secret Service were like coming in, fucking like they got the black clouds, be like, "Oh, you think you're funny, eh?" I don't know why the Secret Service are Irish. I'm sorry.
That's racist, Frank.
Hey, we're in a fucking bidding war on Twitch now.
We are? What?
Yep.
You know what?
Damn.
I'm fine with this. Uh,
Everybody beat me.
I'm fine with that. So, okay. We kind of went way off track when it came to the whole Mueller report. We'll probably talk more about that some other time, but we did get a lot of discussion done tonight. Um, it's hard to push conjecture about a report that could go any way. Like, it could go either way big time. Like, you could say it's gonna be the biggest blowout since Nixon, as far as that. But it could be a whole lot of fucking nothing. So I don't want to like overhype things, but at the same time, I just wish the report would fucking come out already. And I honestly think that's half the reason why, people were like coming in their pants about Cohen, is because, like, oh my god, we might get a little bit of a sneak preview. It's like, I really want to
Yeah, it's
know.
like, so like what you're saying is that the the Mueller report is like the final season of Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
and then Cohen was just like the theatrical trailer, the teaser
basically,
trailer.
it was like a big old dry hump.
Yeah. Like, and then, just like a dry hump, it also was extremely disappointing.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we're good for now, dude. That was quite the discussion we had there, and I enjoyed every
Yeah.
bit of it. And thank you guys
Yeah.
for dropping by. Dean, thanks for dropping by. Kyle, Jer, thanks for dropping by. They are currently streaming right now on Twitch if you want to watch them. They're playing Apex Legends if you're into that kind of thing. I know we're mixing our political, analytical discussion with video games, but whatever, deal with it. If you like what you heard, like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube, because we're gonna keep on doing this. I'm telling you, man, and I'm gonna take a moment just to say it real quick. If it weren't for that feedback we got recently, I don't know if we were gonna keep on doing this. I was petering out a little
I'm,
bit there. Personally,
I'm,
I mean, it means that much to me, man. Like, I crave it. You gotta tell me. You gotta tell me you like us. You gotta tell me you don't like us. You gotta tell us something. Please believe me. Pay attention to me. Please clap.
I like you.
Well, you don't count.
Oh, no.
Anywho, we're gonna get out of here. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.